What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jack Rabbit here. Back with, we're talking a little bit of Marvel. Don't talk enough Marvel on here. Yeah, I know it's San Diego Comic Con week, but I'm not talking about any of that stuff yet. That'll be later this week. But today we are going to be talking Thor, Love, and Thunder. I did go see that opening weekend. Oh, was it opening weekend? Yeah, opening weekend. And I've been lazy about putting a review up. Well, I think I was waiting for Billy Goat. Whatever. But I'm Erin, so let's get into it. Did I like the movie? Well, of course I did. I am going to throw, you know what, let me throw the spoiler warning in here just in case people haven't seen the movie yet. If you haven't, what's wrong with you? Go watch the movie. Like, Viper hasn't seen the movie yet. I'll negotiate with him later to go see that. But the movie was good. The movie is exactly what a Thor movie should have been in. The parts with the Guardians at the very beginning was very silly, goofy, as you expected from the Guardians part. Now, the two storylines they were adapting for this movie, they're adapting to, which are the Gore the Butcher storyline and the Mighty Thor run with Jane Foster as Thor. Both were very well adapted. And when the movie did have to take the serious tones, was showing things with Jane's storyline, which I will get into in a minute, and of course stuff with Gore. Thor. I mean, come on, people. Why would you guys do that to me? Their name's sounding too familiar. Girl, why do you guys do that to me? But yes, when things had to get serious, they got serious. Alright. I'm not going to go through the entire movie and run the entire movie down. That's just going to make too long of a video. I'm just going to talk characters, stuff like that. Of course, the Guardians were the Guardians. They aren't in the movie for very long. Only like, maybe the first 20 minutes. Maybe. And, of course, and during that part, you do get some Korg telling stories, which was hilarious. And he makes a dad bod joke, which is funny at the end of the movie, which I'm going to go ahead and say it. Thor basically becomes a daddy at the end of the movie, so now he's Daddy Thor. So he has a god bod at the beginning of the movie, but yeah, he's godly looking Thor and has a daughter at the end, and that is hilarious. I made it so much cooler is the actress who's playing. We don't even have a name for her yet. So I'm going to call her what they called his daughter in the next Avengers Heroes of Tomorrow movie, which was Torin. I'm going to call her Torin until Marvel gives her a name. So for right now, she's Torin. Love doesn't sound like a good name. I'm sorry. No. I'm going to call her Torin. She's going to get a good Viking sounding name. Your boy's thirsty. Leave me alone. And yes, it's a Dragon Ball Z cup. Got a problem with that? Kiss my butt. I will be going to see that movie later this year. Yes. But we're not talking about that now. So yes, and she's hilarious. The part she have her in here, hilarious with Thor. Definitely good chemistry there. Well, yeah, it's his actual daughter, but you figured, but, you know. But okay, Gore. Gore is awesome. Now, if y'all know me personally outside of this movie, I am not the biggest fan of the Dark Knight movies and how they portrayed Bruce Wayne Batman. Not a huge fan. Not bad movies, but how they portray Bruce Wayne, not the world's greatest. Yes, I know I'm talking a DC movie and a Marvel product, but I'm getting to a point. But I've always said that it's not Christian Bale's fault. And he killed it as Gore in this movie. And yes, I'll be honest, when he killed the first god of his pantheon and his era, I was like, go Gore, I don't blame you, he's a jerk off. But I think he went a little too far with killing all the other gods. Because Thor, as much as he acts like an idiot, he does care about his people. Hence why when he runs into Lady Sif, later on after she gets into a fight with Gore, loses her arm. By the way, yay, Lady Sif's back. Woohoo! She didn't die in the Ragnarok. Woohoo! Hey, I liked Lady Sif as a character, so yes, it's great to have her back. Sucks she has to lose an arm, but she's on Earth now. She can get a nice prosthetic arm and still whoop some ass. So, yay! Means Thor's got more backup other than Valkyrie. Not that I don't like Valkyrie. Valkyrie's still awesome in this movie as well. So I might as well talk about her since I brought her up. But yes, Valkyrie, you could tell she's definitely wanting to be more of a fighting king. She's not really a huge fan of the political stuff at the end. You can tell when she's doing the political stuff at the beginning of the movie, she's bored out of her mind. She's not a fan. Then again, let's be honest, Thor probably would not be a fan of that stuff either. But she probably handles it better than Thor ever could, though. So yeah, basically, and she does have a little bit, and I think a lot of her storylines with Jane were cut because of time restraints. Because the movie's only about 2 hours long. Not even 2.5. About 2 hours long. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that ended up on the cutting room floor. Which means a whole lot of deleted scenes for us for the Blu-ray. If we get them. Because there's about 2 hours. From what I hear, there's about 2 hours of deleted scenes for this movie. So, yeah, that's a lot. But yeah, so, yeah, again, Valkyrie's great. I mean, she's pretty badass when she gets to fight in this movie. Oh, trust me. Okay. Yes. I know, yes. Right, we might as well talk about our buddy Mr. Zeusy. I'll talk Zeusy next. Yes, I'm trying to avoid talking Jane Foster Thor for a reason. I'll get to her. And Thor himself, of course, because Thor himself needs to be talked about as well. But Zeus. Oh, let's talk Zeus. Russell Crowe is Zeus. First of all, I already knew Russell Crowe is Zeus. There's no way this is just going to be a normal, how you normally see Zeus, With the storyline they're going with, where the gods don't care about the people and all that, I knew they were going to have some fun with Zeus. And from what I seen in this trailer, he was going to be campy. He was going to be silly. He was going to be ridiculous tall, up to the nines. And that's exactly what he was. He was ridiculous. He was hilarious. They had him in a stinking skirt. I'm not talking a toga. I'm talking a skirt. And he was so campy. So ridiculous. And it was great. It was great. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more from this film. I mean, it was great. I mean, he was great. I hope we get to see more of him. And from the credit scene, which I will get to after I talk about Thor, the two Thors, and another character. I know I'm jumping around with my characters here. I'm sorry. I didn't really exactly plan this out great, but yeah. But yeah, yes, it's great to see him. We will see more of him, but I will get into the credit scenes later, in a minute. Because I gotta talk about the two Thors. Alright, let's talk to the other character first, which is Axel. Or, I can't remember what his Viking name was supposed to be. Axel. We'll call him Axel. Heimdall's boy. That was cool. First of all, how does Heimdall have a kid? Because as far as we know, he wasn't married or anything. Because he did his job. Which his job was to guard the brothel, so why would he be married? But, okay, he has a kid. Okay. It's established he has a boy. That's awesome. I liked him. I really did enjoy his character. I mean, he was awesome. Well, it made me wonder one thing, but didn't they make it very clear in this movie he's just learning about his powers? Because he has his dad's abilities. His dad's abilities to see, like, cross dimensions and all that stuff. Which technically, if I remember correctly, from Infinity War, definitely did it in Infinity War, so he could have done it before Infinity War. But he could open the Bifrost on his own, without the help from like Stormbreaker or the Bifrost opener. He could open the Bifrost on his own. I don't think it's an ability he liked using, but he could open Bifrost if he needed to. So, but I'm guessing since Axel's just learning of his powers, he doesn't know about that ability yet. You know, because he's still learning about how to like talk to Thor through the his eyes and all that. So I would assume that the ability to open Bifrost would be later, or more advanced ability. So it would make sense. He can't do that right away. But I did like his character. I do like how at the end he's training to be a warrior, which would make sense, because assuming he's going to take over some form of his dad's job on New Asgard. I'm assuming. I don't know. And who knows when we'll see the character again, because from what I hear, it's going to be a little while before we get to a Thor 5. And I'd be okay with that. Come on, some other people need some fourth solo movies first here. Captain America, even though it won't be Chris Evans. Screw it, I might as well say it. I don't even know why I said that under my breath. Captain America 4th, Sam Wilson. Falcon. Yes, that is a need. That is a need. Can't just get away with the Disney Plus series. Come on. Come on, we need an actual movie. Alright, so now let's go talk to two Thors. I'm actually going to talk Chris Hemsworth first. He's Chris Hemsworth's Thor in this movie. I mean, he does get 2 new armors in the movie, and they don't explain either one of them. They're just like, oh, here you go. Here's 2 new armors. Here's 2 new toys we can sell. Pretty much. Then again, except for in, crap. Son of a biscuit eater. Except for in Ragnarok, I don't think they ever really explain where Thor's armors come from. They just show up. Though, it is funny when he's in the one arm, his, dark blue and gold armor. I want to call it Rune King Thor armor, just because I need to call it something. He's wearing a helmet when he first gets it. And he totally admits to Jane Foster Thor he does not like wearing helmets, which makes sense of why he doesn't wear helmets half the time. Majority of the time. But yes, he is great. His scenes with the Guardians are great. I like them before. I would have preferred to see more of them, but, yeah, you know. You don't know. You never know. He could show up in the holiday special for Guardians of the Galaxy, because we have heard that he's not in Guardians 3, which sucks, but it would make sense. Like, why would they call Thor for that? I mean, the only reason I wanted him to see him in there, literally the only reason I want to see him in Guardians 3 is just to get the Guardians' reaction to Thorin. I'm sorry. I want to see that reaction, especially like Chris Pratt, Star-Lord or something. You know, like, you are dead? I mean, or like Drax. Yes. It's a need. It's a want. I want to see it. But yeah. So basically that's what's going on there. So, yay! So that's what's going on there, basically. Pretty much. So, yeah. So he's great. Now, Jane Foster's Thor. Now, you know how earlier in the video I mentioned that they're adapting 2 storylines for this movie. The God the God Butcher storyline, which they did very well with. The Jane Foster Mighty Thor run. They basically did her story to a T. Okay? So, her storyline in the movie is not a happy one. Okay? So, this is where the spoiler warning really comes from. If you've not seen the movie, shut this off. Go away. The rest of that stuff, I try to keep as vague. But this is huge spoiler. Okay, so in the movie, we find out that Jane Foster, just like in the comics, gets stage 4 breast cancer. If you know anything about cancers, most cancers, except like the one I have is weird. It doesn't have stages. If you didn't know about that, there's a channel update video that'll tell you about that. I am not discussing that here. But she has stage 4. Stage 4 is the weakest, is the strongest. Basically, it's almost a death sentence. Almost. You can survive stage 4, but it's not easy. We do see Eric Selvig in the movie. He apparently is helping Jane try to figure out if there's a way to survive her cancer. Apparently it's not. It's terminal. So that means she will eventually pass away, which sucks, because I really did like the character. And they really make her even more lovable in this movie. So she goes, and she, of course, Darcy's in the movie as well, of course. Always good to see her. And she's like, have you told Thor? Well, she doesn't say Thor's name. She doesn't say Thor's name, but she does, say punk, and, she's alluding to Thor. She's like, no. But then once Jane finds out that, and she totally tells her to slow down with the lab, which, as we know Jane, that actually makes sense. Someone would actually tell her to slow down with her lab stuff. But yeah, as she was saying, but when she finds out she's terminal, she goes to see Thor. Of course, Thor's not there, but she does visit her second favorite, apparently sentient. I'm gonna get that. Apparently, I should just talk about that after I talk about the two Thors here. But she goes to see Mjolnir, of course, because she wouldn't know about Stormbreaker because she wasn't around for Stormbreaker. And Stormbreaker starts acting a little funky. Apparently, Stormbreaker can reform itself. Apparently, it reformed itself. But we do find out why. Now, Thor thinks it's because she's worthy. It reformed because she was worthy. That's not exactly the case. Okay, so during the movie, Korg does do a little, after their first meeting back up, and to kind of explain to the fans what actually happened between Thor and Jane, which was nice that they did that, because they didn't have to. It was nice that they did it. But during the part when Thor and her are really close together, between Thor the Dark Lord, and whenever they break up, Thor the Dark Lord, Thor Ragnarok. We'll just say between the two Thor solo movies, when they break up, Thor at one point, I don't know if he wasn't drunk or anything, but he unbeknownst casts a spell, an enchantment, on Mjolnir, telling Mjolnir to always protect Jane. So when Jane went to go see Mjolnir at New Asgard, it reformed to protect Jane, because 1, it could have sensed that Gore was coming. 2, it could have sensed her cancer. So the hammer would want to protect Jane. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to the hammer was actually making Jane worse. Which is right out of the comics. Like, tea out of the comics. So it does eventually, throughout the course of the movie, of course, Thor finds out about this before the final battle and tells Jane to stay back. Now, mind you, Thor's going into this battle with no Stormbreaker. No, wait, does he have Stormbreaker? No, he doesn't. No Stormbreaker and no Mjolnir, because he leaves Mjolnir back for Jane. I don't know why he didn't just, if he didn't want her to go to the battle, why didn't he just take Mjolnir with him, so she couldn't go to the battle? I don't know what Thor was thinking there. I don't think he was exactly thinking. I think he was more worried, 1, getting the kids back, and 2, saving Jane. He was more worried about Jane than he was about the hammer. He wasn't all thinking there. Okay. Now, the music cues in this movie are great. Like, when it needs to be a badass tune. Like, okay, so during the final battle, I'll talk final battle now. I'm gonna get back to Mjolnir and okay, well, might as well talk that. Apparently, Stormbreaker and Mjolnir are both sentient. Apparently, that's something the movies have not discussed. Apparently, they are sentient, just like the comics. And of course, Thor's trying to get Mjolnir to come back to him. Of course, that's his baby, his hammer. Of course, he wants his hammer back. And of course, Stormbreaker gets a little jealous. Of course, makes sense, right? Yeah. So I thought that was cute. That was cute. I was like, that was great. But yeah, during the final battle, Thor doesn't Odin. He temporarily gives all the kids of New Asgard. I always want to say Asgard, but New Asgard. The power of Thor. That part was cool. And during that part, they're playing Welcome to the Jungle. A nice upbeat fight song. Makes sense. And the kids were actually whooping some butt. Because they all got to pick weapons off the ground. And this one little girl picked a stuffed, which I think she already had with her, actually. She didn't. She picked it up. But either way, she picked a stuffed bunny. So it's shooting laser eyes out of the bunny's eyes, which is hilariously funny. And great all at the same time. But yeah, and of course Axel picks up a sword, I do believe, of some sort. Makes sense. He is Heimdall's kid. Makes sense. So, yeah, that part was cool. They played Welcome to the Jungle. And when Jane shows up to the final battle, surprise, surprise, which does cause her death, which is sad, they switched the song to a more slower song. Which makes sense. The part was sad. I'll be honest. I cried. I screamed no. I was not too happy when she showed up. I mean, it was good because Thor needed the backup because Valkyrie was hurt and she couldn't fight. And Korg was ahead, so he couldn't. He was useless. Thank you, Zeus, for that one. But yeah, so she was useless. But yes, so Jane does die. But her sacrifice was not in vain because she convinced Gore to revive. Instead of killing all the gods when he talked to Eternity, he wished for his daughters to come back to life, which is the little girl and Thor. And even though Gore's like, I will die, she's like, Thor will take care of your daughter for you. Pretty much, she didn't say it, but she just kind of hinted at it. And that's exactly what Thor does. He takes in the little girl. So now he's Daddy Thor. I love it. I think it's great. And I need to see more of this. Just a little bit of it we see at the end during the epilogue part. Korg's back to life. Got a body again. Apparently has a kid. And apparently his race is all guys, apparently. I don't know. I don't get it. I want to know more, but I don't get it. We need a Korg Disney Plus series, please. I just want a Korg Disney Plus series because I like Korg. I'll say it. But yes. Okay. So now we will talk to two post-credit scenes. I'm going to talk the second one first just because that one's just a little bit easier to talk about. It's not really a whole lot. We do get to see Heimdall, which was awesome to see. Yay, Heimdall. And he's standing at his post. But not for the Bifrost no more. For Valhalla. Jane, because she was technically Thor when she died, she got to go to Valhalla, which was so awesome. But it would have been cool to see the Hall of Valhalla, to see Frigga, Odin, the Warriors 3. It would have been cool to see all of them again. Maybe in another movie we'll get to see them again. I don't know. Kind of hoping so, because that would be awesome, but we don't have to see them again. I just like to see them again. And then, okay, now the first post-credit scene, that's the bigger one. We do see Russell Crowe's Zeus. Somehow, even though he got his weapon thrown by Thor through his chest and fell to the ground, he is still alive. And apparently, he's pissed off. He didn't like that Thor did that. He's like, they worship the hero like they're gods. They used to worship us like this. So, my son, you need to go destroy these heroes. They need to worship us again. I'm like, That is totally not the point here. But, which son is he referring to? Because Zeus has multiple boys. Oh, he's talking to one in particular. Hercules. Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. Yes, Hercules. So technically Disney owns two versions of Hercules. The Marvel version and their animated version. Which is funny. But yes. So apparently at some point we will see Hercules in the MCU. And he will be going after the heroes. Which I'm like, but Hercules is not really supposed to be. He's probably going to be going after Thor, but Hercules isn't supposed to really be a villain. So how are they going to switch him to? Let's just say this. That is very, very intriguing. Okay. Because in the comics, he is an Avenger. So how are they going to get him onto the Avenger side? I don't know. But I want to know. And that's what a post-credit scene is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you wonder, what the heck are they setting up and how are they going to fix it? And if this also means we get to see more Russell Crowe's goofy Zeus. Or Russell Crowe's Zeus, I'm down for that. Because I like Russell Crowe's Zeus. Alright, so I will see you guys later. Peace. And I'm going to hop right on out of here.